the extensions we did to the export chart tool. If I have that chart now and I want to export it in a way that it is suitable for my measuring instrument, you'll notice that the dialog looks a little bit different because we have added a preview here, which is quite helpful because it shows you all the patches and how the layout will look like. You'll see what happens if you change, for example, the chart width. If we are doing something like 300 here millimeters, obviously the layout will be different and I get more patches on those pages. We can see what happens if I change the patch size. If I don't have any patches, any gap sizes here, this will be shown. For an instrument to work with that, patches should be randomized. Not every instrument is able to do that. In this example, I'm using an i1 Pro, but with a randomized version, we would scramble the patches in such a way that neighboring patches will be a higher enough contrast to be able to measure those patches. And for example, if you wouldn't have any patch numbers, you will see as well that you get even more patches on one page. So just a nice feature here, a very important feature to be able to see which kind of settings you're using here will have which kind of influence in terms of the layout that you are generating here. And another nice feature that we've added in that tool, I will have to load my media batch again. So my typical media batch layout looks like this. And if I want to print that layout in that way as a test chart, I need to make sure that I'm using the right settings, the normal one. And here we see, so patch numbers, I should have the patch numbers. You'll see my layout will stay the same if it fits on the chart width and chart height. And this has changed as well. We didn't do that in the older version. The older version tried to optimize the layout always, meaning to gain most space, or in this way, the layout was scrambled sometimes. And now with the new version, we'll stay with all the layout information and keep this information as good as possible if the patch distribution is selected to use the normal one. And not randomized or sorted. If I want to have that with an i1, I obviously need some gap sizes here, and it will look like this. And if you click on Start, we can save that as a PDF, PSD, or TIFF file. I will do it now for a PDF, just to make a new thing. And you'll notice as well, there's a new broomstick here, which is there to delete all the modified presets. So because after some while you can have your own saved ones and you can have a lot of edited ones and the list can get long, and with the broomstick you can delete them. So that's one thing here. And the other new features that we have added here is prevent vertical gaps. This way the layout of a chart can be reduced as well in terms of the height. In this example, just 3 patches, that's not so fancy. Therefore, I will select my Foga 51, export chart, and prevent vertical gaps. Now, so those vertical gaps here will be prevented, allowing us to put, in this example, we gain the amount of pages. So we have only 2 pages instead of 3 pages. That's a nice functionality here that we've added as well. And another even nicer one is that when we are creating a new reference file from the export chart, we will put all the information about the chart layout, patch sizes, width, gap information, as well into the reference data. So this is private data. It will not disturb other tools. And we will use this information when we measure. And there are a few instruments that we support, like, for example, the X-Rite I1IO table or the Konica Minolta FD9 or Barbieri instruments like the LFP that have a specific wizard. In that wizard, you typically have to inform the device how many patches you have, how the size of a patch is, if there are gaps and how big the gaps is. We'll read all those information from this reference data. Just as a reminder, this will only happen if you use the export chart to generate your new test chart and the layout, and then this information will be saved. It will not be saved if you're not using the export chart.